it was hell. It was sheer hell. It was over. There's no coming back to it. It's a done deal. Chapter closed. Marc must move on. Life must go on. But I was wounded. Internal wound has occurred. Can't just walk away from it. I tried just saying, oh, it's okay. It'll pass. This too shall pass. It didn't work. It didn't work. I couldn't sleep. I was anxiety all the time. I'd feel depressed. I kept thinking about the other person like all the time. I couldn't go a day without even thinking of contacting that person. I wasn't able to move on. It was painful. I'd rather have gotten punched in the face. Hey guys, how you doing? Come on in, come on in, come on in. Got a bit of a sensitive topic today. A topic that's very close to me at this time. I'm not going to go into too many details about myself, but I will share a little bit about my experience because I think it can really help some people because it helped me out of a really rough patch, if you will. Internal wounds must be treated like external wounds. I do have notes. I'd like to give my boy Jay Shetty a little some props on this. He helped me through this. If you don't follow Jay Shetty, my boy, my friend, he's not my friend, I just follow him. If you don't follow Jay Shetty, follow Jay Shetty. His stuff is solid. And with what I was going through at the time, he popped in at the right time. So that example is from Jay. Thank you, Jay. Internal wounds must be treated just like external wounds. So an external wound would be something like, it would be a physical wound, like a cut, okay? A cut. You cut yourself. That would be an external physical wound. An internal wound, the example, it's an emotional wound. So an external wound shows, you see the cut, there's blood coming from your body. It shows. An internal wound would be something like heartbreak. That's the one I'm going to use today because I recently experienced that, so I could share a little bit about myself after the lesson. External wounds show, internal wounds do not show. So we often ignore the internal wounds and let them fester inside, but they must be treated just like an external wound. So if an external wound, a cut, goes untreated, what happens? It gets infected. And then the infection just grows and grows and grows and turns into something that should have never been there in the first place. So what do? We must treat it. How do we treat it? Well, the two best ways are you research how to treat it first. And if you can't find out how to treat your cut, for example, you could research online. Go get polysporin for that kind of cut. You'll be fine. Boom. If the research doesn't work, then you have to go seek help. You have to go seek help, the doctor. Go to emergency, you'll get your stitches. Well, the emotional wound works the same way. If it goes untreated, the infection of an emotional wound will come in forms of pain, anxiety, depression, and that shit grows, yo. That stuff grows. It grows and it grows and it grows. You must treat your emotional wounds. Just sometimes you ignore them because you're like, it's okay. I'm going to get through this. But you don't treat them. You must treat them. How do you treat them? You research how to do it. We have the internet, folks. That's how I fixed mine. If you can't do it yourself, you got to seek help. I would say emotional wounds are just as bad as if not worse internal wounds as external wounds. They're probably worse because you don't see them. You're more likely to ignore them, and they build up inside, and they can do some permanent scarring. Just like external scarring, it's internal scarring. Okay? So, I'm going to share my experience because I did use research, and it fixed it. It fixed my heartbreak. I just recently went through heartbreak. I'm not going to spend too much time on this. It's a personal issue to me. I don't talk about that stuff normally online, relationships and things of that nature. But for today, I'll make an exception. I just swallowed. You can probably tell I'm getting a little nervous talking about this. So, recently I went through a divorce. Let me take a sip of water. When I say divorce, I mean a girlfriend or a partner. A girl, though. I have a lot of gay friends. I just don't want you to think because I said partner. A girlfriend. I separated from a girlfriend, if you will. So it's not an official divorce. I'm already getting into it too much. I'm already getting nervous and awkward. So let me take a sip of water. It was hell. It was sheer hell. It was over. There's no coming back to it. It's a done deal. Chapter closed. Marc must move on. Life must go on. But I was wounded. Internal wound has occurred. Can't just walk away from it. I tried just saying, oh, it's okay. It'll pass. This too shall pass. It didn't work. It didn't work. I couldn't sleep. I was anxiety all the time. I'd feel depressed. I kept thinking about the other person like all the time. I couldn't go a day without even thinking of contacting that person. I wasn't able to move on. It was painful. I'd rather have gotten punched in the face and had a broken nose. I've had this sucker broken many times too. So I would have taken a broken nose over this internal pain. Now, I tried to bury it. It didn't work. The infection was still there. I had to clean out that wound. So I decided to treat it. How did I treat it? I did a lot of research. I actually bought a course online. I did. I got some good free value, and the free value was working, so I bought the course, which was like $600. Not a course, yeah. Like a course to help fix the broken heart. And it worked. So I'm going to share a couple of things with you guys right now today. How did I clean out that wound before I put the bandage on it? You got to clean it out, okay? Number one, I realized that I was broken. I couldn't just ignore it. I could not be in denial. I had to relive the trauma. I had to revisit the traumatic event. I had to revisit the trauma, go through that pain all over again. Number one, accept what had happened. Number two, I looked at it from the other person's eyes. Sometimes, this stuff worked. It absolutely worked. And again, this is for the heartbreak situation. Remember, the lesson here is research and then seek help. That's the lesson. I'm sharing with you my experience. I researched and that worked. If that didn't work, I would have sought help and I had somebody ready and waiting. I was at that step. I was actually about to take that step. And if this didn't work, they were expecting a call from me. If you're watching, you know who you are. I'm going to drop the initials so you know I'm talking about you. DL. DL. You're about to get a consulting fee from me. I was going to hire you, actually. You're one of the best for this kind of stuff. But I didn't need it. Let's get back on track. Through my research, I had to realize I was broken, revisit the whole trauma. Then I had to look at it from the other person's eyes with compassion. Because I was so stuck on looking at it, I'm right, she's wrong. And when I looked at it from that person's eyes, it kind of opened up my eyes. It did. It helped a lot. There was compassion, but there was also shit, Mark, you were kind of wrong there, you know, buddy. Why didn't you look at it from their eyes earlier? Then after that, I accepted the fact that we're not a match. It just wasn't a match. That happens. Well, it happened. We just were not a match. Round peg in a square hole. I realized that. And through this whole process, it made sense to me. And then I forgave them and I forgave myself. And that's how I was able to move on. There you go. I found that through research. And if that wouldn't have worked, I would have gotten to getting help. So there you have it. That's the lesson today. You want to treat internal wounds just like you would treat external wounds. You need to treat the wound. You can't just let it fester or the infection will grow. How do you treat the wound? Start by doing your research. If the research of your own doesn't work, then go and seek help. And that's what I got for you today. Marc Lalonde signing off. Have an amazing day, and I'll see you guys on social media. Bye-bye now. Thank you for watching or listening. I hope this content has helped you in any way, maybe motivated, inspired you. Maybe it's triggered an idea. Maybe it's gotten you out of a rut. Maybe it simply entertained you. Listen, I'm just an ex-computer consultant guy who lost his way to drugs and alcohol and eventually became homeless. From rock bottom, I cleaned up, I clawed my way back into the workforce. I shifted into running my own business. I've been retired from the corporate world for 7 years now, and I've never looked back. If you want to follow me on my journey or maybe even connect further, you can either go to my blog at thewealthytrainer.com. That's thewealthytrainer.com, or you can click the link in the description if you're watching this video. Marc Lalonde signing off, and I'll see you on the inside. Bye-bye now.